I know that success leaves clues. Let me see if I can uncover what the truth is behind how to really grow a business that doesn't keep you locked in and feeling small.
This is every single week, every Wednesday to join and tell your friends to join. It's fastfoundations.com/office hours. If you are here with us live, we appreciate you. If you are not, then head to that link, fastfoundations.com/office hours, and join us live next week. And most grateful to be able to host our next event with my buddy Jim over here. Next event is coming in hot, coming in quick. It's just a little bit more than a month away in Scottsdale, Arizona. If you want to join us, fastfoundations.com/next event. And if you have no idea what Fast Foundations is, welcome. Thanks for being here. Fastfoundations.com is where you can learn all about us and what we do. We're going to dive in. We're going to give our special guest about 15 to 20 minutes to blow our minds, to teach us something. Jim's going to introduce Matthew in just a second. And then once he's done, if your camera's on, if you're here in the room, you're going to have a chance to introduce yourself to the room, do your elevator pitch, practice that, and share what you're grateful for, where you're coming from today. If you haven't yet, put where you are sitting today in the chat, and then a link to either your Instagram or your LinkedIn so we can all connect with you. Again, if you're just listening to this, fastfoundations.com/office hours, so you can join us live next time. Jim, what'd I miss?
I don't think anything. We got it. Ready to roll. So you guys, welcome. Happy Wednesday as always. Thank you everyone for being here, and excited to introduce our special guest expert today, Matthew Allyn. Matthew is a leadership marketing coach who's championing the cause of authenticity and storytelling. And we just love the way he shows up, and we're excited to learn from him today. And Matthew's unique approach is all about helping entrepreneurs harness their individual stories and their truths. And by doing so, he guides them not only to create compelling content, but to stand out as trailblazers in their industries. Matthew, take it away.
Thanks for having me so much. I love the intro. One of the big things I like to talk about is become known as the only obvious solution for your ideal client's problems. And I think that's something that I learned, as I'll talk about today, is something that I completely missed from a lot of the niching down conversation that I learned. And yeah, in true fashion, and honoring the space of just going for it and working through things. I am such a person that likes to have the PowerPoint and for it to guide me and all that stuff. But today I'm going to step into a next level of not having a PowerPoint. And as I was laying in bed last night and I was journaling this morning on what I wanted to bring to you guys, we're going to move a little bit away. I'll talk about storytelling a little bit, but I thought there was something way more powerful I can offer you guys. And I went crazy on my journal this morning. So crazy that in 4 pages, I didn't mess up at all. So I know that it was perfectly aligned. And so I'm just going to peek down at my notes in my journal, and obviously here to answer any questions at the end. I want to start by just sharing a story, which was my entrepreneurial journey. And when COVID happened and going in the online space, making around $4,000 to $6,000 a month and really struggling there. And I learned in that time how to niche down. And for me, it was being a personal trainer. I was a personal trainer. I loved marketing and the business stuff. I grew my business a bit. When the pandemic happened, I took a program and learned niche down. I was like, all right, personal trainers is it. And in 2021, I actually joined Fast Foundations with Chris and Lori Harder. And while Fast Foundations is absolutely incredible, I was not showing up in the way that I should have. And I think one of the biggest things that held me back is, first, there was a mindset component of thinking like, all right, there's 100 people here. I'm going to be 98 out of 100 on the totem pole. Or I'm going to have a lot to learn from a lot of people, and I'll just be like probably 98 or something. And I think what really happened for me is that when I got introduced to the group, there were like maybe 2 or 3 personal trainers there. So I'm like, those are ideal clients, and maybe I can help those people, but everyone else I'm going to learn from. And I really felt like this idea that my niche had to be this person kept me small in a group where I could have actually shined if I really understood what the value I provided. But by niching down to a specific person, it really kept me small. And if anyone, or raise a hand or in the chat and wants to say, has anyone niched down of pick a person, pick this magical person and solve all their problems and your business will grow. And that's what I did. And I found myself really struggling and continued to struggle in those like 5-ish K months trying to target the personal trainer. And come the end of 2021 into 2022, I was like, there's got to be a way out of this. I have been launching personal trainers. I'm not a personal trainer anymore. I don't vibe with it. There's got to be a different way to like niche down. And so I started mixing up my niche. I was like corporate person, and then like maybe a little bit wider to wellness coaches, and none of it was really working. And there was one day where I just kind of had enough. This was the spring of 2022, about a year and a half ago. And I was in this brand new apartment, and it was a little extension to motivate myself to work a little bit harder, have a creative space. There's a 2-bedroom, 2 full bath, vaulted ceilings. I had this wood fireplace with white brick. And at this time in spring, my buddy actually moved in to my 2nd bedroom, which was my office. So I moved my office out to the living room. I'm in front of this wood fireplace. And I'll never forget just being like, I was just had enough. My business wasn't growing. I was plateaued at these 5-6K months. There has to be another way. I'm not excited about the work I'm doing. And I just feel in this box. And I was thinking about Fast Foundations. I'm like, I showed up so small, and I know I have more to offer. And so I'm sitting at my desk, this big brown wood desk. I remember just staring at the glare of the sun shining off the desk in my eyes. And I was just caught in this thought. And what kind of woke me up was like, I might go blind if I keep staring at this, but I was just so locked in. I'm like, there has to be another way. I was like, okay, there's a lot of people online that I really love and admire. I know that success leaves clues. Let me see if I can uncover what the truth is behind how to like really grow a business that doesn't keep you locked in and feeling small. And so big Gary Vee fan, any Gary Vee fans, looked at his story. And what did I see is that he was the wine guy, right? And had Wine Library TV on YouTube he would talk about 3 years, and he would get 10 subscribers, and finally broke through that after 10 years. But we all know that he started as a wine guy, and he helped build his dad's wine store, and he did it through the internet and stuff. Right. So I was like, okay, like Gary Vee, like we all know his story, and he got really well known for one thing. And then I looked at Hormozi. Who doesn't love Alex and Layla Hormozi? Right. So I look at Alex. I actually knew him way before he started blowing up in the gym world. I'm like, okay, Alex got really popular from gym launch, and we all know his story. We all know these stories of like, he was building his business to spite his dad, to prove him wrong, that he lost all his money twice and told Layla to leave him. And she's like, no, I'll sleep with you under a bridge. Like, we know these stories. I'm like, okay, we got really well known for one thing, and we know the story. Lewis Howes, another one, right? If anyone knows Lewis Howes, he always shares that picture where he's in Italy with his broken arm, black cast with the Italian sweatband on. There's a cathedral behind him. That's the lowest point of his life, living on his sister's couch. And then he became the LinkedIn guy. And so we all know that story. He became the LinkedIn guy, and he's where he is today, right? He's broken through that, and which I missed for the other ones, right? Gary Vee's broken through. He's everything, right? 10 million followers on Instagram. Alex Hormozi, he's not just gym launch. He's all businesses, right? All these people have their breakthrough moments. We can even look at Chris and Lori Harder, right? Chris was the money guy. Lori was the fitness girl, and they have also broken through, right? Even Chris, podcast, For the Love of Money. Now it's the Chris Harder Show. Right? But at some point, you get known for one thing and you're able to break through. But we all know the harder story, right, of losing all their money, having to sell all their nice things in their house and move out. And we all know that story. So I was like, oh my God, there's 2 major themes here if you're catching on. Get really known for one thing, and everyone knows your story. And if you all hear for Alex Street, he's the storytelling master. He talks about this big, your like what I would call like your life story or your core story. There are a lot of other stories that can build up your brand inside of that, which is why I didn't want to come on here and just talk about stories. I think go listen to Alex's. That's amazing. I think I have a different offer that I can provide you today. And it was really this, that I had this realization that people get known for one thing. And this is when I sat down that day. The sun eventually moved and the glare wasn't on my desk anymore. I put down my notebook. It was actually this remarkable tablet. And I wrote down my first iteration of the Zone of Genius framework. And through understanding that you get known for one thing and tell your story, I wanted to implement that for myself and see what happened. And finally, by the end of that year, I was breaking through those 5K plateaus, coming into 2023, having my one-on-ones booked out, finally over 10K months. Finally, this is what allowed me to break through. And so I want to share the framework with you guys and what this looks like and how you can implement it for yourself, and then give a little exercise and how you can uncover how this can work for you. Sound good? Sound good? Awesome. Okay. So I talked about niching down all wrong, right? The idea is that you pick this perfect dream ICA, ideal client avatar. You can even give them a name. Matt lives in Denver, loves baseball, has a girlfriend, makes X amount of dollars, right? And doesn't value expensive things, right? That's their psychographics, how they are as a person, right? Demographic psychographics. Once you have that person, know their goals, pains, and struggles, and then solve all their problems. Give away all your information online, clients will come flooding in. But if you're like me, they don't. They don't come flooding in, right? And so this is all wrong, because when we think about this ideal person and then we want to solve all of their problems, maybe you fit into one of these two things. You guys have 1,000 ideas for marketing and content, but you're overwhelmed. You don't know what to post, right? So you don't post anything. Or you have 1,000 ideas for content, and so you post all of them, but now you're drowning yourself out and you're not getting known for anything. And this is where I talk about, we want to become the only and obvious solution for ideal clients' problems, so that when they suffer their problem or the problem that you solve, they immediately think of you. If it takes you 2 hours to make a reel and it gets 10 likes, the only comment is from your mom, and you're like, damn it, I should just hire Matt. That's what I want your next thought to be. And that's what you should want your ideal client's next thought to be. Not, let me Google a Reels coach. Let me look up how to market myself. Let me buy this book. No, they should think of you immediately after. So how do we do this? This framework looks like this. Every business exists to solve a problem. All you entrepreneurs are here because you started your business to solve a problem, probably a problem that you dealt with. No matter what it is, I don't care if you make bread or if you're an online coach or whatever it is. You're here and you started your business because you solved a problem. And that's what every business does. So what problem do you solve? This is your niche, and your marketing exists to prove that you're the only obvious solution to this problem. So now we don't care about how old you are. You could be 20 or 90. You could be black or white, rich or poor. I don't care. If you struggle with your marketing, I can help you. And now the fun part comes in, which is where you then get to show up as yourself. I get to show up as Matthew Allyn, fully, authentically. I talk about baseball and my girlfriend and play with my dog and just do these things. And those things will attract the demographics and psychographics that everyone tells you to start with. But you don't need to even think about that stuff. You just be yourself, which I know that's a deeper conversation. And there's ways to uncover that. And I like to use content as a way to uncover who I really am, because for so long in our lives, we've been told who to be, who not to be, what to do, what not to do. So get to use content as a way to uncover, who am I? And let's try things on. Let's make this content. Let's be loud and crazy like Matt. Didn't like that. Let's be a little bit more calm. I don't know. Maybe it's somewhere between, right? You get to make content and uncover who that person is. But we don't have to worry about the demographics, psychographics. It's you. And then you just get to be the obvious solution to that problem. Okay. So uncover, this is the top layer. What is the problem that you solve? And it can be very broad, like me, business growth. But the next layer under, which you really want to understand, is that you have a zone of genius. Okay? So just as, before we get to that, just to reflect back on like Gary Vee, right? If you pay too much for wine or you don't know anything about wine, he solved that problem for you. Go watch his YouTube or go buy wine from his dad's liquor store. Lewis Howes, you can't find the right job, he will solve that problem for you. That's the problem he solved. Hermosi, your gym isn't growing, your gym is in the red, he will solve that problem for you. So those are the problems they solve. Now, the next layer of how do we solve those problems? This is your zone of genius. So like Gary Vee, if you pay too much for wine, you will go to his dad's liquor store to buy cheaper wine, or you go to YouTube to learn about wine. His zone of genius was social media and the internet, right? And he always talks about who would buy wine off the internet. He was ahead of the curve, and that was his zone of genius. So that's how he grew. Lewis Howes, you're not finding the job you want? Use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is his zone of genius. Not fix your cover letter and update your resume. Build on LinkedIn. And Alex Hormozi, your gym is failing? Well, hire me and we'll do a 6-week challenge with Facebook ads, and we will sell out your gym next month. So his zone of genius was Facebook ads, really, into the 6-week challenge. That was his zone of genius. And that's how these people have grown millions of dollar businesses. What you want to understand here is, I'll give you this example. If I broke my arm, mountain trail run out here by St. Mary's Glacier, if anybody knows Colorado, 10,000 feet, really gorgeous. Just saw a moose yesterday. Scared the crap out of me. Really rocky though. If I tripped, fell, and broke my arm and it was sticking through the skin, and I drove all the way back into Denver to get it fixed, what would happen? I'd probably see a surgeon. The surgeon would say, you need surgery. We're going to give you anesthesia and we're going to stitch it up. It'll be good, right? But if I stayed out here in the mountains and went to some holistic healer, I don't know, we might smoke peyote and snap it back into place, rub some salve on it, and then we would meditate on healing the cells of our body. And that could also work. The point is that both things work. They're both right. But each person, the surgeon and the holistic healer, that's just their truth. That's their experience. And that's how they solve the problem. And that's their zone of genius. So uncover how you specifically would solve this high level problem. What is your zone of genius? And now you know that your marketing, I like to say 70% of the time, the other 30% of the time would be storytelling and all this other fun branding stuff. 70% of the time, your marketing exists to prove that your zone of genius is the only and obvious solution to that problem. So 70% of the time you make content, you should be very aware of when I talk about this thing, I want to make sure that my zone of genius is the obvious solution to that problem. And that's how you get so well known, by repeating yourself over and over, that somebody then goes to make a piece of content and says, damn it, this doesn't work. I should just hire Matt. Okay? Or somebody has knee pain and goes, I should just hire a knees over toes guy. Or somebody says, my gym is failing. I should just hire Alex Hormozy and gym launch, by getting really well known for one problem. Okay. So we got a few minutes. I want to do this exercise to help you, if anyone's struggling with this, to uncover what your zone of genius might be. So again, hopefully you have an idea of the problem you solve. And again, it could be very basic. It could be like business growth, right? I help people get from 5K to 10K months, right? It could be as big and broad as that, if you'd like. The difference is where it comes out of your zone of genius, which helps you get more specific and really stand out. So again, for me, if it's business growth, that isn't the problem I solve. My zone of genius would be uncover your zone of genius so that you can be the only obvious solution to a ideal client's problem. And that's how I would show up my content. Question number one that I want you to, we'll go through this a little bit quickly to respect everyone's time, but I'll never forget, it was my birthday dinner. I think I was turning 31. I'm 33 now, turning 31. Went out with my girlfriend and my best friend. The waiter comes over. We're chatting after some margaritas. I'm like, so you want to be a waiter the rest of your life? And he's, no, I'm a visual DJ. And I'm like, visual DJ? What the hell is that? That sounds awesome. And he explained it a lot. I'm like, dude, you should what's stopping you from going full time? He's like, I'm not making enough money from it. So my thought is, why don't you, while you're working at the restaurant, build your brand online, start showing people what visual DJ is, talk about it, tell stories, work for free and get a bunch of content. That's my first immediate thought for a lot of people I talk to. You want to go on your passion? Let's start building the brand. So the question for you is that when somebody struggles with the problem that you solve, what's your immediate hypothesis? Where do you go first in your head to think, oh, here's probably where they struggle? Now I know, especially if you're an online coach, a good coach would ask more questions, but still in your head, you have an hypothesis. And for me, that would be like, maybe we could fix some marketing or branding, the courses I've taken, the books I've read, the podcasts I love. When I go look at my bookshelf, Marty Neumeier, he's got like 3 branding books. Seth Godin, he's got a bunch of marketing books. When I look at the stuff that I consume, it's pretty obvious that I love marketing. And this was all before I realized that marketing was my zone of genius. Because for a while, I was helping every personal trainer with sales, mindset, offer creation, niching down in marketing. 5 things and it drowned me out. But when I honed in on marketing, like I said, that's when I broke that plateau. Looking back, there's clues here. There's clues in your life on the things that you're consuming, the things that you love, the things that you talk about with your best friends, even going back through your childhood. Like I rode my bike across America in 2016. Every single day is on YouTube because I Snapchat the whole thing. There's like 3 to 5 minute videos for every single day where I'm like, what's up? I'm going down a hill. It's all on YouTube. I loved social media from the get-go. I didn't even know it at that time in 2016. Go back to 2008. I was on a trip with my parents in Italy after high school. My mom had those like little point and shoots that were popular back in the day. I ended up taking that camera and I was the photographer that trip, right? So this love for creativity was always in me. So content creation, obvious if I look back and I see the clues. So look at your bookshelf, your podcast, the courses you take. There's something that lights you up. You love learning about it. I want to learn this for myself and I want to learn it so I can teach people. And that might give you the clue. And the final and third thing to think about is when you do make content, when you do post stuff, when you're on podcasts and you're a guest, there is something that you talk about that lights you up. Again, I would talk about mindset, sales, offer creation, niching down, and marketing over and drawing me out. But man, there was always stickiness to it. I loved it, but there was always it was hard to think about those topics. But man, when I talked about marketing, it was easy. It was fun. It was so exciting. So when you look back at the content you've made, it's great to be a jack of all trades. When people hire me, guess what? I still help them with sales, marketing, offer creation, all that stuff. But I drown myself out if I always show up that way. And instead, I got really well known for one thing. And 70% of the time that I post, I make sure that my zone of genius is the only obvious solution to that problem that I solve. And my final word as I sign off here is that, guys, just try some shit. Nobody remembers what you did 2 weeks ago. Does anybody remember what RT and Jim talked about 2 weeks ago, even here, right? Or on their posts or social media? What did Chris and Lori Harder post 2 weeks ago? No one remembers. They remember how you remember how you made them feel. You don't really remember what they posted about. So try stuff. My one thing used to be high ticket offer, and I just didn't like it. So I switched and I got more clear, the more content I made. So go have fun, practice, play with your content, try stuff. The more you take action, the more clear you become. Thank you.
Love it. Thank you so much, man. It was great. Everybody, please do me a favor. If you got your cameras on, just give a little clap, throw a heart emoji. Matthew, appreciate you so much, man. Thanks for pouring into everybody here today.
I'll drop my Instagram. I have a content membership coming out this fall. I'll drop the link for the wait list. A lot of free fun stuff coming. And then I have a training on Monday. I'll drop that link right now too.
All right, I love it. So if anybody has a question, let's start with just raising the virtual hands so we can just get a feel for that. And whether or not we have questions, we'd love to move into what we call rapid fire takeaways. Give us your name, really quickly what you do, and then just tell us what you're grateful for. And then please share with Matthew one thing that you took away from what he had to say.
I just appreciate the insight about being the obvious solution. I haven't thought about my marketing that way. So that's given me some light bulbs in terms of this idea of obvious. Who would you call for this? Oh, it's Haley. Thank you for that.
Do you know what yours would be, Haley?
No, I'm fun.
I love that.
So I got to think through because right now, I'm a real estate agent, right? So I want people obviously to be so currently my marketing is I want people to see me, basically mind share, market share, right? But I don't know if that's not translating to the obvious answer, right? So anyways, I think I need to be more intentional about that.
Yeah, it's awesome. I've worked with some real estate agents and it might look a little different as a real estate agent, but in the local setting, you're in Knoxville, I would be the Knoxville lady. Brand new place opens up, this hot new restaurant, you're there trying it, you're telling people about it.
Yeah.
And you're mixing in real estate stuff, right?
Yeah.
I know my previous real estate clients said, everybody knows at least 5 realtors. If that's true, then how do you become number one? How do you become that first thought? And yeah, I think that mind share, market share is a great point, showing up recently, but yeah, have fun with it. Yeah, show up at the restaurants, whatever you do, whatever you love to do. If it's maybe you love to sing and stuff and you're playing, show that part of your little fun hobby where you do open mic nights.
Hey, how you doing, guys? My name is Aldo today. I am a CPA and I offer fractional CFO services. My takeaway is really just do it. Really, it doesn't really matter what it is. Just put something out there. It's going to get better, not worse.
I love that. Is it cool if I just jump back and forth? Because
Absolutely.
What I always tell people is I love, yes, take action, make it messy, but still always make sure there's intention. Not just I got to post today just to post. But yeah, come back to this idea. Is this, if I post this today, does this make me the obvious solution to this problem? All right, cool. Even if it sucks and it's not the best video, yes, that's when you can just go post as long as the intention's there.
I can go next. Hi, everybody. My name is Allison Hartram. I'm hosting a networking retreat for female entrepreneurs this October. And when I heard Matt was presenting, I was not missing today's call. Heard him speak a couple times. And I guess my takeaway from him, it's the same one every time that I really just appreciate. But the fact that people really resonate and remember how you made them feel as opposed to the content of what you actually shared. And I just think that's so important because we can get caught up in the minutia of everything has to be perfect and we need to do this and we need to do that. And the reality is how are you making someone feel? So thank you, Matt, for sharing. And it was great.
I love it. Yeah. Okay. Once again, I'll just keep giving little things, but yeah, that's like uncovering who you really are. Like there's no right or wrong. I can show up with a lot of energy, sometimes talk fast. That's just me. And that's come apparent doing content consistently for 3 or more years. But this is also what gets to attract like your aligned clients, right? If I'm signing up with somebody who's really slow, like it's going to frustrate me. I'm like, I love some feminine energy. A lot of my best coaches have been females, but I need someone masculine too. And if you're like 90% feminine, like I'm not the coach I want, we're not going to get along super well. So if I can create that connection through your content compared to, yeah, somebody watching me, it's like, wow, Matt's a lot. I don't think I can handle that. Good. Don't work with me because it probably won't be the best experience and you won't get the results you want.
Thanks so much. Next up, I see Isabel.
Hi, my name is Isabel. I'm an entrepreneur. Something that stood out to me that you said, Matthew, is your zone of genius. I am a impact and growth lady myself, and that stuck out to me the most simply because I am a jack of all trades. It's really good to think about what my actual zone of genius is, what really ticks all the boxes for me, and definitely something that I'm going to ponder. I don't have an answer for you yet, so I'll circle back, but thank you.
Yeah, I love it. I know one of my things was like, I think we get into this. I have so many things I can help people with and I don't want to limit myself. And I think it's really ego based. It's but you don't help anyone if no one remembers you and knows about you. So you get known for one thing or you get known for nothing. That's what I do. And what I said before, it's like, even as the marketing guy and people have been like, you're the content king. It's like, cool. People come to me and they're like, I need help with my content. They want a sales call. And I'm like, your offer sucks. And you got a shitty mindset. I don't say this to anyone, but you actually need all these other helps. Hey, here's the offer you actually need. You don't just need the messaging help. You need this other stuff. And I go, oh, and then I can make that sale. But they came to me because what I like to think is that people have one top level problem. We have a lot of problems, but one sits above the rest, right? And so some people think it's my marketing, it's my messaging, my content that sucks, right? So they will come for that thing. And then once I solve this problem, then I can be a better salesman. Then I can get to my fitness and work out, or then I can work on my mindset. This is the one core problem for me. And you just want to, again, be that obvious solution.
Well, thank you.
Love it. Thank you. And Letty.
Hey, Matthew, I just wanted to say that I appreciate the reminder that we don't have to niche down to this one little person that really limits us. And also the reminder of figuring out what is the one thing we want to be known for, top of mind. And I appreciate the questions that you shared because it's going to give me the opportunity to continue journaling. And I have done a lot of just moving before I'm ready. I've done a lot of it for 4 years. And it's been a journey of discovering, like, what is it that lights me up? What is it that I want to focus on? And it's exciting. And every step gets you a little closer. So your session was really great. I just really appreciate it. I want to say thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Letty. Yeah. I mean, I don't think is anyone here? Are you doing what you did 5 years ago, 10 years ago? No, it took doing the thing to then realize that's not it. It's probably this. Let's try this. So yeah, same thing with content.
And I'll jump in too, Matt. This has been awesome. And the one thing I love that you used Lewis Howes and Hormozy and just the great examples they use, because I've been listening to this podcast and resonating with just the title of the podcast, which is called 10 Years in the Making. And obviously that's a famous phrase, but like, I think so many of us look at people like Hormozy and Lewis Howes, and we have to be reminded that like they've been hustling for better part of a decade. Hormozy, not maybe 10 years, but still a long time. And Lewis, for sure, a very long time. I think those are really good examples to say once you do figure out what you are good at and what you want to do, don't give up quickly, because it takes a really long time to keep doing that same thing for people to recognize who you are and what you stand for. So I appreciate that inherent reminder.
Yeah, that's so important. I actually had that in my notes and just without just skimming them as I was talking. But I said with Gary Vee, it was 3 years till like he was getting anywhere with his YouTube. Hormozy actually started when he was 23. He's 33 now, my age. So it's been a decade for him.
Yeah.
And a lot of failures there. And what I've been really focusing on, and this is actually new for me, but I'd love to share it, which is that if you want to stay consistent, we're so obsessed with the goal. Like this will then get me the money, and the money, which gets you whatever you want. Maybe it's time freedom so that you can, like for me, play more sports, right? Do more trail running. And then those things get me a feeling. It's all a feeling that we want, more joy, fun, and excitement. What if we were just creating that joy and excitement right now? And for me, finding a way to make content fun and exciting. So now I don't have to worry about talking about sales. Yeah, I do love it, but not as much as I love marketing, right? So like I just get to talk about the thing that I love so much nonstop. And if I just love that for 5 years, the success is inevitable, right? But we're like, this is the ticket for me. If I do this, right, Facebook ads, and then it will. And it's, yeah, but you see all the energy around that? Like, do the thing. All of this works. You want to write a book, do a podcast, whatever. It all works. Do the thing that you love the process of.
Hey, this is Jim Carter. Thank you for joining the Fast Foundations podcast. We're excited to try this new format. We're grateful you were here to be part of it with us. If you missed the live event, you can join us every Wednesday. Sign up at fastfoundations.com/office hours, and we'll see you next week.